Welcome back to the Emily Show. You know, last week I was in Indianapolis for the DCI finals. I can't believe it was just last week. It feels like it was a million years ago and yesterday all at the same time, but it was great to see my kiddo perform for the end of his 2025 season with the Cavaliers. I think Shapeshift was a great show, had a blast, but now we are back into the law. And then next week, we are probably going to be in trial because jury selection is starting for Donna Adelson. And the judge has been very clear that the moment the jurors are seated, 12 jurors, 3 alternates, the moment they are butts in seats, they're doing opening statements. This judge is like, we are ready to roll. So make sure you have the Law & Order app, because if they seat a jury at like 1 p.m., they're just going to get rolling with opening statements. And I'm going to be keeping a close eye on that so that you don't have to. So we will probably be covering trial sometime during this week. If not, it looks like the 25th will be the first day that we'll be covering trials, so I will keep you posted in the app. But today, we need to talk about a few things. One, there's a lot going on with Bryan Kohberger. We're going to talk about some of it. There's been new document dumps released, and there's been quite a lot going on in prison. And as I was sitting down to record this, not only is it him complaining about his treatment in custody by other inmates, which, why are you surprised, Kohberger? But also some video that purports to be of him inside his custodial housing. We're going to talk about that because the prison's already released a statement about it. They also released a statement about his complaints, as it were, and we're going to talk about those. But also, we need to follow up a little bit on the Denise Richards divorce because they were waiting on that court hearing on August 8th, the last time I covered that case. So now we need to follow up what happened August 8th and what's going to happen going forward, and how Denise Richards ended up in the news before her court hearing because Aaron and his family called the police on her for showing up at the house. Yeah, we're going to have to talk about that too. And then, in things I didn't think I was going to be talking about this week, Roblox. And if you have been on the internet, or if you have kids or teens that are on the internet, you've probably heard about what's going on with Roblox. There are lawsuits. We're going to talk about it. I asked both my kids about it, so I'm going to tell you what my kids think too, because these lawsuits with Roblox are the tip of the iceberg. We're going to see a lot more of them. Not only has the state of Louisiana sued Roblox, but there are multiple different Jane Doe victims in different states that have sued. Those victims are all around 10 years old. So young victims suing Roblox, a victim from Florida suing in California, a victim out of Michigan, and others. There are at least 5 of these individual lawsuits that have dropped at the beginning of August, and there are going to be more, but there are a ton of pending lawsuits and a pending class action. So the legal mess that is Roblox right now is something we're going to unwind just a little bit. Emily, that sounds like a whole lot. I know. Let's get into it. I'm legal analyst Emily D. Baker, yes, also a lawyer, and this is The Emily Show. I break down the pop culture, entertainment, and high-profile cases that we're all talking about. I know you want the facts, so let's get into it. Thank you to today's sponsor, OneSkin. If you are looking for a one-step go-to skincare routine, OneSkin has you covered. OneSkin relies on its proprietary OS1 peptide, which helps switch off the damaged skin cells that cause wrinkles and fine lines and thin, crepey skin. And their products are certified safe for sensitive skin and are dermatologist tested. Plus, they are approved by independent testing platforms like SkinSafe. They have over 6,000 5-star reviews that cover their entire line, from their face and body to their sun care. OneSkin's multi-purpose products prove that you don't need a complicated skincare routine to have healthier skin. So whether you are looking for a one-step moisturizer, a new sunscreen, or more, check out OneSkin, the world's first skin longevity company. By focusing on the cellular aspects of aging, OneSkin keeps your skin looking and acting younger. And for a limited time, you can try OneSkin with 15% off by using code LAWNERD. That's code LAWNERD at oneskin.co for 15% off. And after your purchase, if they ask where you've heard about OneSkin, just let them know the Emily Show sent you. We'll give your skin the scientifically proven gentle care it deserves with OneSkin. Let's get back to today's episode. So first, we're going to talk a little bit about the Denise Richards divorce proceedings that are going on. The last time we checked in, they were getting ready for a court hearing on August 8th, and there was a temporary restraining order that Denise Richards had sought against her estranged, because they're not yet divorced, ex, Aaron, and Denise had indicated that she was living separately, that Aaron and his family members were living in a house in Calabasas. She was living separately with her children. We went over what was going on. The court date was set, and Aaron was representing himself pro per. And so I say was because right before the hearing on August 8th, he had a lawyer substitute in for limited purpose. We will talk about what that means in just a moment. But he also filed a motion to continue the hearing. So Aaron filed on August 6th, 2025, the request to continue the hearing. Aaron is, of course, the one the restraining order was taken out against. Therefore, he's the restrained party. And so he is asking to continue it. And then he lists that he now has an attorney and lists all the attorney's information so that service can be done through that attorney. This attorney filed notice that they were coming into the case for limited purpose and indicated that they were coming into the case to represent Aaron just to deal with the restraining order, not the entirety of the divorce, which is not uncommon. It goes on to say that the attorney is representing the petitioner for the restraining order hearing and ex parte hearing that are set for August 8th for the purpose of seeking a continuance. And then as we get to the court's order on the 8th, we're going to see more information about this, because when we get to the court's order, we'll see that yes, this gets continued and the attorney is coming in. It's not unusual that an attorney might come into a case and be like, I'm not dealing with the divorce case, but I am here just to handle the restraining order and the hearings regarding the restraining order, because there's a lot alleged in Denise's motion for restraining order. The court has ordered return of property. So there's a lot of legal things happening at the outset, but that attorney might not want to or be retained to or be able to represent a party for the entirety of the divorce proceedings. So letting the court know, hey, I'm here for just this one part and then I'm out, that's not unusual, and I'm not surprised. And I'm glad to see, honestly, that an attorney has come in to maybe help the proceeding where it goes forward with the restraining orders to move forward at least more smoothly. So now we're going to take a look at what the court ordered when the parties were in court on August 8th. This is the court's minute order from the 8th. The court said that the parties were in court. The new attorney that signed the documents was not there, but the associated attorney was. Either way, Aaron was in court. Attorneys for Denise Richards were in court. Denise Richards was not in court. The matter was called for hearing, and the court said, pursuant to the request of petitioner, which is Aaron, the request for DV prevention without minor child filed by Denise Richards on July 16th is continued to September 8th at 8:30 a.m. in Department 2 for reassignment. Any temporary orders remain in full force and effect. So that means everything the court has done up until now stays in effect until then, until the continued hearing date. Order on request to continue hearing is signed and filed. Notice is waived. The court is advised that the time estimate for the hearing is 3 days. So it is anticipated then that the hearing on the restraining order is going to be a 3-day hearing with witnesses, with evidence being taken, with testimony being given before that temporary restraining order becomes a more permanent restraining order. So they are setting aside 3 days for hearing. The hearing is continued for long cause reassignment as indicated above. So it needs to go to a different court that can spend 3 days on this hearing. The parties are ordered to serve and file an exhibit list and witness list prior to the hearing and meet and confer regarding the exhibits. There are trials that last less than 3 days. This hearing is going to have from the attorneys witness lists, exhibits, meet and confers, and be a very full proceeding ahead of anything else in the divorce happening. Each party is to serve and file an income and expense declaration prior to the hearing. Petitioner accepts service of documents by email, and that is it. So I expect that we won't see any of this hearing. Numerous media outlets have requested to record, photograph, stream, video record these proceedings, and they've all been denied. I don't think that will be changed, especially when we're dealing with family law court. I don't think we will see the court allowing any still photography, any video, any even audio. So if people want to see what happens in that hearing, they're going to have to physically go sit in the department where this is assigned for 3 days and see what happens. Even then, depending on the nature of the proceedings, sometimes in family law, the court can close the proceedings There are different rights than there are when we are talking about a trial or a criminal trial. So we will see, but this will be reassigned on September 8th. And then I expect the actual 3-day hearing will take place after that, because then the court it gets reassigned to will need to set it on calendar when they have time. So this is not going to get resolved anytime in the near future, which is a problem because these parties are already having issues with each other even before this hearing. And we saw numerous media reports that the police had been called out because Denise Richards went to the Calabasas home where Aaron and his family are staying. Her showing up there can cause problems for him. So I'm not surprised that the police were called. And there are two very different sides to that. So let's take a look at the reporting real quick. And remember, when we talk about the Calabasas home, we have seen in other court documents and even in the Real Housewives that that is the home that Denise and Aaron had lived in together. That is a house that she has rented. And then Aaron stayed in that house with his mom, his dad, and seemingly his brother, and she moved out. But it does seem that numerous of her pets are still living at that house. And so there is confusion to me about what is going on with all of it. Denise Richards shows up at Aaron's home, claims he quote unquote put down her dog as cops are called amid restraining order. Sources close to Aaron tell People that Richards claims that he put down one of her dogs is 100% absolutely false. There's also a statement from her lawyer in this article, and we're going to take a look at that in reader mode so that I'm not distracted by all the advertisements that keep flashing on the side of the screen. The article goes on to say that Denise and Aaron had a run-in with law enforcement over the weekend. This was ahead of that court hearing on the 8th. Amid their ongoing divorce and her temporary restraining order against him, People confirms that the Lost Hills Sheriff's Department responded to a call around 4:40 p.m. on Sunday, August 3rd at the Calabasas home, where Aaron, his parents, and his brother are currently living. Upon arriving at the scene, authorities, quote, did not have any evidence that a crime occurred. I'm not surprised they called law enforcement. When you are supposed to stay away from people, stay away from people. But if her animals are there, she is going to have to figure out where to have her animals not there. Her divorce attorney, Brett Berman, tells People that Richards was not doing anything illegal. It's a bad idea, counsel. She's not restrained from being around him, but nothing good is going to come from it. In a statement to People, the attorney says that the 54-year-old who is granted a TRO against Aaron after making allegations of domestic violence throughout their relationship, quote, did not violate a restraining order by going on to the property. She is not restrained. He is. It's still a bad idea, but he's her lawyer. He's representing her. The statement goes on to directly quote the attorney saying, on August 3rd, 2025, after confirming that Aaron was not present in her home, Richards entered the home to retrieve her dogs after learning that he had put down one of her dogs without her knowledge or permission. However, sources close to Aaron say that that allegation is 100% absolutely false. The insider further alleges that Richards was screaming and banging on the door of the home to get inside. When Aaron heard her voice, he left through a side door. Richards previously opened up about the confusing living situation during a March episode of her Bravo reality show, Denise Richards and Her Wild Things. Quote, I don't live in our house, she revealed. Aaron's mom, dad, and his brother, they were going to stay for a few months. It's been over 3 years. I needed some space, so I rented a townhouse. Then I rented another one and another one, she continued. So I have 3 of them. One's an office, one's a studio, one's for Lola and Eloise and for us to sleep in. And when Aaron and I want privacy, we sleep in the studio. So we're all over the place. We talked about that previous episode where she made statements saying that she was never going to get divorced again the last time we talked about this. But here's the thing. If your animals are there, she needs to make a plan for the animals not to be there. If you have a restraining order against someone, yes, you are not supposed to be around them. They're restrained from coming around you. But if you go into the area where they are, it can also cause problems. Her lawyer says she confirmed that he wasn't there. His inside source said that he heard her and then left. If she believed one of her dogs had been put down, I am not surprised if she was screaming and banging on the door and wanted access to her dogs that seemed to still be at the Calabasas house. That's what her lawyers are saying. He is saying that's absolutely not true. This is all going to have to play out in court. My hope for all of them, like I said the last time we covered this, was that they are able to stay away from one another and resolve this as amicably as possible from this point going forward. We will see if that's possible. So with that, we are moving on to talk about, well, someone that's restrained from going anywhere, Bryan Kohberger. thank you to today's sponsor, Hungryroot. Look, you guys know that I love a sponsor that makes things easier. And over the summer, life was incredibly busy and we needed a lot of flexibility. And I didn't always feel like getting off a plane and going to the grocery store, which is where Hungryroot was a game changer for us, because you can pick between whether you need groceries or whether you need meals or whether you need a combination of both. And you can change that up every single week. And you can shift around delivery dates. That flexibility made it incredibly easy to not only keep my fridge stocked with healthy food and recipes that I love, but also to make sure that I had the groceries that I wanted. So whether you're looking for meals that can be ready in 15 minutes or less, you're looking for convenient lunches, you're looking for grab and go or groceries, Hungryroot has you covered. I know that you're going to love Hungryroot as much as I do. So make sure to take advantage of this exclusive offer. For a limited time, get 40% off. Yes, you heard me right. 40% off your first box, plus get a free item in every box for the life of your subscription with Hungryroot. Go to hungryroot.com/Lawnerd and use code Lawnerd. That's hungryroot.com/Lawnerd. Use code Lawnerd for 40% off your first box, plus a free item in every box. That's hungryroot.com/Lawnerd. Code Lawnerd. Get ready to make groceries and meals easy. Let's get back to today's episode. A lot has been going on in the Kohberger case since he was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole, ×4 plus 10 years for burglary. He was moved to Idaho's most secure or supermax facility where death row inmates are kept. We have seen headlines, and many of them at this point, that he is complaining that inmates are yelling at him and keeping him awake. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But we have also seen documents from Moscow PD, from state police, and other agencies getting released kind of in groups of documents and public records request, and just being released so they don't get inundated with public records request. And we've also seen video that purports to be Bryan Kohberger walking around his cell, which we're going to talk about last. But the court also issued a new order with regard to sealed documents and is seeking the attorney's input regarding the court documents and what will be unsealed. Remember, Judge H said this is going to be a process that takes a while, and he is asking the attorneys for their input. This was filed by the judge on August 4th, and the court says, as part of the process to review sealed records to determine which should be unsealed, the court will process the review of those documents from newest to oldest. The court will require the parties, e.g. the lawyers, to indicate whether they have an objection to unsealing any specific document, and if they believe a document should remain sealed, they must identify why redacting the materials is not an acceptable arrangement, and with detail and specificity, why the document should be sealed from both a legal and factual standpoint. The court is saying you need to give me quite a lot of information if something needs to be sealed versus having names or other identifying information redacted. You can see that the court clearly has a preference to unsealing with redaction for personal identifying information as necessary. The court goes on to say, simply citing a court rule without more is not a sufficient response. The response must identify each document by date, name, number of each document identified in the order for review of sealed status of a particular group of documents. The parties must file their response, including, if appropriate, a notice of non-objection within 14 days of the court's order identifying a particular group of documents for review of sealed status. So the court's going to give a particular stack of documents to the attorneys and say, these are all the documents I want you to review. Tell us if you object, don't object, fill it out as above here. And so the court has indicated the first stack is going to be things from July 2025 and back. And then the court lists out all of the different documents that the court is interested in unsealing. And it is a substantial amount of documents. When we get to the end of this list, the court is looking at 43 different documents that are sealed that the court is asking about being unsealed. So if there are any objections, we will see those filed on the docket in the next week or so. And then we will know what is going to be unsealed and not. And for me, it gives me at least an indication of what documents to expect being unsealed on the docket, so I can go through and grab them and keep an eye on what's being unsealed and new information that we learned so I can overview it. It's going to take a minute because we're getting into the Donna Adelson trial, but I will be doing overviews of what new information we learn, if it is relevant to all the legal things about Bryan Kohberger going forward, but those are going to be interspersed with other cases. It is not going to be the main focus because there's going to be a lot that we already know, and a lot of it's not going to really change things. What I'm really keeping a countdown for is if Bryan Kohberger is going to file a notice of appeal, which I think would be a terrible plan, but that's what I'm keeping an eye on. He had 40 days from the time of sentencing, so I'm keeping an eye on that. But I gotta be honest, I also am a little curious about the complaints that Bryan Kohberger is supposedly making about other inmates being loud. I'm not joking. Let's take a look at this article coming from today. Idaho prison responds after Bryan Kohberger complains of taunting. The 30-year-old convicted murderer is currently serving 4 life sentences at Idaho Maximum Security Institution. The article goes on to say the Idaho Department of Corrections has issued a statement following what appears to be a complaint from convicted Idaho murderer Bryan Kohberger that he is being taunted while in prison. Quote, "We are aware of Kohberger's complaints about what he considers taunting. Incarcerated individuals commonly communicate with each other in prison. Bryan Kohberger is housed alone in a cell, and IDOC security staff maintain a safe and orderly environment for all individuals in our custody," a spokesperson for the IDOC told Today.com in an email statement. The department did not detail the nature of the alleged complaints. Look, their statement says it all, doesn't it? We are aware of Kohberger's complaints about what he considers taunting. Other reports have indicated that Bryan Kohberger is finding it difficult to sleep because other inmates are yelling or banging on the walls or yelling in the air vents or what have you. But yeah, he has been kept safe. They can't make the other inmates not say things to him. The article goes on to talk about videos allegedly picturing Kohberger in his prison cell were widely shared online, and the IDOC released a follow-up statement on Friday, August 15th. We're going to take a look at that in just a moment, saying they were aware of clips and were investigating the matter. Quote, "While we cannot yet confirm the veracity of the videos, if verified, they are a clear violation of IDOC policy, and the parties responsible will be held accountable up to and including termination. We caution that some videos may be fake or AI enhanced," the department's statement read in part. The IDOC noted that correctional staff was reminded of the appropriate use of technology and social media via emails sent in July, and that videotaping and publicly sharing security footage is prohibited conduct. Yeah, no shit. And we will be reviewing all legal options, including criminal prosecution. We are going to take a look at that video, which I am grabbing from eastidahonews.com, because it appears to be a video of Bryan Kohberger in a prison cell. And some online have said that that video came from when he was in Ada County. Ada County has said that that's not us. So the prison has also said that they are looking into it. If it wasn't apparent that it was a cell from their prison facility, they would not have said, "We are looking into it." They would have simply said, "This isn't our facility." And that's not what they said. So this statement is coming directly from the Idaho Department of Corrections on their website, idoc.idaho.gov. And this is their statement about videos circulating online from August 15th. Quote, "We are aware of videos circulating online and are investigating the matter. While we cannot yet confirm the veracity of the videos, if verified, they are a clear violation of IDOC policy, and the parties responsible will be held accountable, up to and including termination. We caution that some videos may be fake or AI enhanced." I've seen some of those. There are some videos that clearly seem to be AI enhanced and have Bryan Kohberger doing things like playing basketball in his jail cell. But there is other video that I think is at the heart of them making a statement that these videos are being investigated. They did not say this video is not from their facility. They did not say that this video doesn't purport to be one of their jail cells. They say they're investigating and caution that some videos may be fake or AI enhanced. They did not say the video. On July 23rd and again on July 25th, IDOC leadership sent 2 emails to staff reminding them of our policies and expectations concerning professionalism and the appropriate use of technology and social media. Videotaping and publicly sharing security footage is prohibited conduct, and we will be reviewing all legal options, including criminal prosecution. The safety and security of our staff and incarcerated population remain our top priority. So let's take a look at the video. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at this video that's been circulating online. Again, I got this from eastidahonews.com. This seems to be security footage from the prison. This is the statement that they put out. So let's take a look at this video together real quick. The video appears to be Bryan Kohberger in his cell. He is in a single isolated cell, walking across the cell and putting something up on his shelf. And there is some background noise on this, but it's not noise from inside his cell because it seems like somebody is recording, I think, a screen, but you can tell me what you think. So that is what appears to be Bryan Kohberger in his cell, and then it looks like somebody zooms in on him, and then the video cuts. To me, the video looks like somebody recording a screen and then zooming in on the recording of a screen. If it is somebody from within the prison recording a security screen, they will figure out who had access to that screen. Their statement doesn't say it's not Bryan Kohberger. Their statement doesn't say it's not him in their facility. I'm going to keep an eye on them investigating it because they're not going to be happy about it at all. I mean, not talking about people in prison, but kind of. We need to talk about Roblox. Thank you to today's sponsor, Cash App. You might be familiar with Cash App from how you use it, but Cash App is also here to help make sure your teens' money and their spending isn't adding to the craziness of day-to-day life. Cash App is designed to meet teens 13 to 17 where they are with their intuitive educational tools. Their account is available through sponsorship by an eligible parent or guardian, and then teens can access a personalized Cash App card that comes in a wide variety of different colors and patterns to fit their style, and they have the ability to instantly access money from family or friends. Cash App makes managing money feel easier. The platform also has tools that can help teens develop real-world financial habits in a space that's safe and easy to navigate, all with adult oversight and approval. If your teen is getting their first job, Cash App can get them access to their paychecks up to 2 days earlier and can help them achieve saving goals that they can set themselves, all within the app. With Cash App, these tools become something they'll actually want to use because they were designed with them in mind. Finally, no one wants unnecessary surprises. With Cash App, there are no monthly fees, no minimum balance requirements, and no hidden charges when sending or receiving money. With the Cash App card, you and your teen's balances receive 24/7 fraud monitoring, and if something ever feels off, you have the ability to lock their card right away from your phone in just one tap. Skip the stress and give your teen a way to learn financial responsibility with no hidden fees. Download Cash App today to get started. For a limited time only, new Cash App customers can use our exclusive code to earn some additional cash. For real. Just download Cash App, use our exclusive referral code FAMILY10 in your profile, send $5 to friends or family in 14 days, and you'll get $10 dropped right into your account. Terms apply. That's money. That's Cash App. And now for the legal stuff. Cash App is a financial services platform, not a bank. Banking services are provided by Cash App's banking partners. Prepaid debit cards are issued by Sutton Bank, member FDIC. Direct deposit, roundups, overdraft coverage, and discounts provided by Cash App, a Block Inc. brand. Visit cashapp.app/legal/podcast for full disclosures. Let's get back to today's episode. So some of you are undoubtedly going, Emily, what is Roblox? And some of you are like, oh my God, are we talking about this? And some of you are like, wait, what? Yes. This story crosses between like the state of Louisiana suing an online video game platform and like an entire YouTube community that is steeped in fighting with this company to a bunch of other lawsuits to really what the boundaries are online and who's responsible for protecting kids that access games that have chat features. So in broad sweeping overview of Roblox, it is an online gaming platform because independent developers can make games on the Roblox platform. So you can go to Roblox and play a wide variety of different types of games that are under the Roblox umbrella and are hosted by Roblox, but are developed by independent developers. People can make things to buy and sell within Roblox. Robux, which is the monetary unit that you can go buy you've probably bought a gift card at some point for Robux, if anyone in your life has played Roblox, because Robux, like any other type of monetary unit you can use, like in Nintendo or in Fortnite or whatever, is the denomination you can go buy a gift card for and load it into the game and buy digital things within the games for your character or access to things or whatever. Not unlike Pokecoins if you're playing Pokemon Go. Let's get back to something I'm much more familiar with, truly. But my kids have played Roblox, and I asked both of them if they knew what was going on Roblox, and they knew more about it than I did. And I'm like, oh, I saw the Louisiana lawsuit, and I was like, tell me more. My kids are like, oh yeah, let me tell you what. So there's this YouTube creator, Schlep, and he has been going on to Roblox and letting people chat with him thinking that he was a kid. And as people start propositioning him faking being a kid, or those on his team faking being a kid for inappropriate things, he takes that information and turns it over to the police. Now, I have greatly simplified this story, but where this all started hitting the YouTube videos that my kids are watching, whether it is Creecraft or Moist Critical or whoever, I've seen a ton of creators across all different avenues of YouTube talking about this issue, because the creator Schlep was a creator that had been on the platform to make the platform better, it seems to me and to my kids, going through these conversations and then turning these conversations over to law enforcement. And 6 people had been arrested on the basis of those conversations that were turned over. It also seems to me, based on everything that I've seen, that Schlep had been also providing this information to Roblox and they hadn't been doing anything with it. And then when I see one of the largest creators in the space, Creecraft, who I don't know personally, but have seen at conventions like, I don't know, VidCon, with lines of people wanting to speak to him, when one of the biggest creators who is almost synonymous with Roblox is saying that he is not only leaving their creator program, but is calling them out online. I'm like, this is a massive problem. However, it also seems that people are listening, because Creecraft, in a recent video, and I'm going to link all of those videos down below if you want to deep dive into this whole topic. But Creecraft not only said that he was leaving the creator program, he is a Roblox creator, but was talking about his own frustration of Roblox not listening when he brings things to the platform, saying this is a problem. And it seems that the platform has long turned the other cheek to problems with those preying on kids on their platform, engaging in inappropriate chats, engaging in inappropriate on and offline behavior, extorting kids, offering kids Robux within the game for pictures, actively trading CSAM, or sometimes you might hear it referred to as CP, on the platform, and more. And so when I was asking my 17-year-old about this, I was like, what do you think? And he's like, well, I think they don't shut it down because those people that are trying to induce kids to do and send pictures, or to meet up with them in real life, or to engage in inappropriate chats, to engage in offline conversations, to engage in webcams and the rest of it, those individuals are largely inducing this behavior with Robux. And Travis is like, I think that's where a ton of the Robux being purchased on the platform are coming from. He's like, I don't know if that's true or not, but it seems to me that that's a huge portion of people that are buying Robux. And I'm like, interesting. And then I asked my 13-year-old, I'm like, what is going on with Roblox? And he's like, oh yeah, they got a bunch of creepers. And I was like, not like the Minecraft kind? He's like, not like the Minecraft kind. I'm like, have you heard of some of these games? He's like, I've heard of some of these games. And the games we were talking about are things like bathroom games where you can go into a bathroom one-on-one. It seems like all of those games are simulating, well, sexual activity. There's no sugarcoating it. And there are numerous games on the platform that allow for simulated sexual activity and explicit chats. So I was asking G if he and his friends were playing Roblox, and he's like, no. And I'm like, are you chatting on Roblox? He goes, when I turned 13, the chat was automatically on. And I was like, right. And he's like, no, I'm not. So we went on and looked at Roblox and looked, do you know how hard it is to turn off chat in Roblox? It is really hard to turn off chat in Roblox. In some of the games, you can't turn off chat. And there are kids on Roblox at 7, 8, 9, 10 years old who have access to chat on Roblox. and it is not easy to turn it off. So it was wild to me that what I started looking at as a state suing a platform is A, known well within the Roblox community, and B, is something my kids are just like, yeah, the things you see on there is wild. Like even within some of the games you wouldn't expect it, just what the characters are wearing or saying is wild. And so Roblox has now shut down a number of the games that the media has started picking up talking about because the state of Louisiana sued them. One of the things that I find so frustrating is that some of their top creators have been sounding the alarm on this for a substantial amount of time, and the platform seems to have done nothing. But Creecraft in his video said that he and Schlepp are both talking to congressmen who are like, wait, what is going on? And then Roblox seems to have brought Chris Hansen out of retirement. He's like, wait, we can just stay home and like virtually to catch a predator? All right, bet. So let's take a look real quick at the lawsuit from Louisiana, but know that this is the beginning of quite a lot of lawsuits. There is a class action regarding Roblox tracking minors online and digitally tracking what they're doing online in a way that is alleged to be against the law. We will see that class action. But then there are at least 5 lawsuits with Jane Doe plaintiffs alleging that they were exploited on the platform, and they all are 10 years old or younger. So it is just the beginning of those lawsuits where individual children, through their parents and their attorneys, are bringing lawsuits one by one against Roblox. And then we've also seen a massive Roblox stock plummet, which is why I think the platform is now responding. And they've made a couple responses about why they kicked Schlepp off the platform, what they are doing to work with law enforcement, and their response to the Louisiana lawsuit. But it really might be too little too late. And did Roblox removing a creator from their platform who was making videos about some of the unhinged things happening on the platform really end up being what like Streisand affected this whole thing and cracked it wide open? Because if they hadn't removed Schlepp from the platform, I don't know if I would have even heard of it, because that seems to be the one thing that everyone around the internet started talking about first. But any game where you can have people actively trading illicit images of children and that's not getting filtered is a problem. Unfettered chat access to kids is a problem. Videos made for kids on YouTube don't have chat and don't have a comment section. So having pretty much no age gating and no way to tell if a kid is 13, 10, 9, 17, or 27 or whatever is a problem. And the state of Louisiana is taking that problem to court. But other countries have completely banned Roblox within their country, and I think we're going to see more of it. The problem is it doesn't undo what's happened to the kids who have been harmed on the platform, and it doesn't undo what's happened to a creator who, it seems to me, not only was a victim on Roblox themselves and shares that in some of the videos talking about this, but had a completely separate YouTube channel doing like roller coaster tycoon games, which are a lot of fun, and then had this separate like to catch a Roblox creeper videos. All of their Roblox users or accounts have gotten banned off the platform and they've been completely blocked. So where do they go from here with the channels that they were creating that seem to be helping the platform? The platform disagrees. And the platform said that they do not take vigilante groups well and that they will not allow it. And I'm like, well, they were reporting it all to law enforcement, but I understand because sometimes people go way too far. It doesn't seem that any nuance was employed here. And it seems maybe that the person who got banned so that they couldn't keep seeing what was going on the platform and talking about it publicly. But you're going to have to let me know what you think about that in the comments. Let's look at what Louisiana has said. Before we get into this lawsuit, I am going to list some of the other resources for parents, guardians, anyone interested in this, teachers. There are resources with the Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, and childhelp.org. I'm going to list all those below because it is a way that you can find resources on how to report this if you know someone who has had these issues on Roblox and where to report it and what process to take to report it, but also to try to figure out exactly what's going on this platform and what you can do to protect those in your life that might be using this platform and the games on the platform. Because I guarantee you, if you ask those in your life, somebody is going to be playing like Steal a Brain Rot or whatever. And probably the gardening game. If you're like, Emily, what's it to steal a brain rot? Ask a 13-year-old around you. 9, probably younger, unfortunately. Just ask. They'll know. So this is in the 21st Judicial District Court, Parish of Livingston, State of Louisiana, through the Attorney General for Louisiana, Liz Murrill, versus Roblox Corporation, petition for injunctive relief, civil penalties, restitution, and other relief. I think this is our first Louisiana case, and it starts with now into court. Through undersigned counsel comes plaintiff, the state of Louisiana, nature of the action. This is an action brought by the state of Louisiana through its attorney general to hold defendant Roblox Corporation accountable for the facilitation and distribution of CSAM and for the sexual exploitation of Louisiana minor children through defendant's interactive online gaming service, Roblox. Roblox is one of the most popular interactive online game platforms, it says, specifically among children. Defendant markets Roblox as the #1 gaming site for kids and teens, footnote 1, as well as an educational experience for children. Defendant repeatedly assures parents, children, and the public at large that Roblox is safe for children. However, contrary to its assurances, defendant fails to implement basic safety controls to protect children, users, and fails to provide notice of the dangers of Roblox. For years, defendant has knowingly enabled and facilitated the systemic sexual exploitation and abuse of children across the United States, including in Louisiana. Through willful disregard and deceptive practices, defendant has permitted and perpetuated an online environment in which child predators thrive, directly contributing to the widespread victimization of minor children in Louisiana. By way of example, and to illustrate the urgency and necessity of this action, on or about July 15th, 2025, in Livingston Parish, Louisiana, law enforcement officers executed a search warrant at the residence of an individual suspected of possessing CSAM. At the time of the arrest, the suspect was actively using the online platform Roblox. Notably, the individual was in possession of and had employed voice-altering technology designed to mimic the voice of a young female, allegedly for the purpose of luring and sexually exploiting minor users of the platform. And yes, people will pretend to be kids and pretend to be either a young female or a young male to lure in other children of the same gender to be like, no, this peer pressure. But when it is an adult, it is grooming. It is not peer pressure. They are trying to style it as, oh no, this is what everybody does. It's not. Continuing on, the lawsuit says the defendant's deliberate failure to implement effective safety measures to protect child users from well-documented predatory threats, along with its ongoing failure to warn parents and children of the foreseeable dangers posed by the platform, has directly facilitated the widespread sexual exploitation of minors and inflicted severe, lasting harm upon children of Louisiana. So the state attorney general is bringing this action to shut down or enjoin the platform because the argument is largely based on the fact that Roblox is not moderating what is done on different Roblox servers. A lot of servers, it seems, moderate themselves and implement protocols on their own. Others have none, but there's nothing to stop a 9-year-old from going from one server to another. So you could have a child on a server that is very well moderated, very popular, and not a problem. And then in their next game, in a server, changing games into something that is completely not okay. So it's really difficult. And to quote my 13-year-old, he said, oh no, Roblox moderation is trash. So, those are Griffin's thoughts on it. The factual allegations start with, launched in 2006, Roblox is an interactive online gaming platform that creates a new category of human interactions. Users can play a myriad of games on Roblox referred to as quote-unquote experiences. There are currently more than 6.4 million experiences within the Roblox ecosystem. Defendant has complete control over the platform hosting the experiences, including but not limited to warnings associated with the experiences, age verification, age restrictions for each, policies and rules regarding inappropriate conduct, monitoring for inappropriate conduct, handling and facilitating of reports of complaints by users, etc. It goes on to say that Roblox is easily accessible, including to children as young as 6 years old. It is free to download and play and is available on gaming consoles, computers, tablets, cellular devices. I mean, if you can get on the internet, you can probably get on Roblox. It's available just about everywhere. An account can easily be set up by children in a matter of minutes without a parent. Roblox is designed to be an interactive experience, allowing and encouraging users to communicate and interact with each other in real time. Gameplay interactions, user hubs, direct messaging, and voice chat all promote social interactions between and among users. Roblox co-founder, CEO David Baszucki has explained that his vision for Roblox to bring about the next phase of human interaction, which he has also described as a new category of human co-experience. There are some experiences that aren't for children, and your platform is geared towards children. Defendant has similarly explained that it operates a human co-experience platform where users interact with each other to explore and develop immersive user-generated 3D experiences. And it markets it as the #1 gaming site for kids and teens. However, the lawsuit continues that when users sign up, they are given a wide variety of games that they might want to join and shown a plethora of experiences to choose from, including Meep City, which is a problematic platform from everything that I have seen. But once you log on, you are inundated with a variety of different servers to just click into. They go on to say in 2009, a blogger wrote about blocking Defendant because he doubted its safety for his children. The CEO responded to the blogger, reassuring him that Defendant flags, quote, obviously offensive content and removes it. And if, quote, something is marginal but gets flagged as inappropriate, it's investigated immediately. That is not what I've seen from those that are talking about this platform in 2025. In a 2013 Wired interview, when asked whether a parent should be concerned about whom his child was chatting with in-game, the CEO declared, quote, we take every precaution possible to make sure kids are protected from inappropriate and offensive individuals, as well as from indecent and distasteful content, taking a sentence verbatim from Roblox webpage for parents. However, they juxtapose this with a screenshot from Roblox's sex simulation game, which they have put in line with their lawsuit, because there is a simulation, well, not just one, numerous simulation games that are not age-gated in any way. They have also included chats that I can't read to you on YouTube. They have also included screenshots from the public bathroom simulator, where people are also simulating, well, meetups in a bathroom. Those games, though, I have seen that since this lawsuit was filed, have largely been taken off of Roblox, though people have been complaining about them for years. They go on to quote a blog post from Roblox's website that asserted in 2024, quote, Roblox has spent almost 2 decades working to make the platform one of the safest online environments for our users, particularly the youngest users. Our guiding vision is to create the safest and most civil community in the world. For users under 13, our filters block sharing of personal information and attempts to take conversations off Roblox where safety standards and moderation are less stringent. Press X to doubt. It goes on to say a few months later, he added, safety is and always has been foundational to everything we do at Roblox. However, it seems that the fact that you have a vast and broad chat feature that doesn't seem to filter, and you have no way of knowing how old the user actually is, because users can tell you they're any age they want to tell you with no verification process, among other things. They also include a screenshot of a game that was live on the platform called Escape to Epstein Island that was rated as suitable for everyone. So all ages. There's nothing, it seems, to limit the all age category based on content. The lawsuit says, yet another factor to the deceptive conduct and inadequate design of Roblox is the defendant's failure to require age-appropriate designations on experiences. Defendant has intentionally and or knowingly designed Roblox without requiring age-appropriate designations on experiences in order to increase the number of users per experience for the purpose of increasing revenue. Instead, the option of quote-unquote all ages suitable for everyone can be selected by the experience creator, giving children access to highly inappropriate experiences such as quote-unquote Escape to Epstein Island, a title that directly references one of the locations where for years Jeffrey Epstein trafficked minors and other non-consenting individuals so he and others could sexually and physically abuse them. The game was listed as suitable for everyone. The lawsuit goes on to say, a recent investigative report also exposed a multitude of other exploitative experiences on Roblox that recklessly trivialize or gamify serious criminal conduct, including, I don't think I can say that on YouTube, but just all sexual assault. The report confirmed that defendant actively hosted over 600 quote unquote Diddy games with titles like Survive Diddy, Run from Diddy Simulator, Diddy Party, which appear to recreate reports of incidents involving the music mogul Sean Combs, publicly known as Diddy. They go on to explain that Diddy, which y'all know, Diddy was federally charged and underwent trial for sex trafficking, among other things. But they are talking about how some of these games within Roblox are simulating Diddy freak-offs as they were reported. And it shows a screenshot of a number of those games. All of them seem to be listed as all age appropriate. This report also revealed the defendant was actively hosting more than 900 Roblox accounts displaying variations of convicted sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein's name, such as Jeff Epstein's supporter and others. The lawsuit goes on to say, in pursuit of growth, defendant deprioritized safety measures even further so that it could report strong numbers to Wall Street. For instance, defendant executives rejected employee proposals for parental approval requirements that would protect children on the platform. Employees also reported feeling explicit pressure to avoid any changes that could reduce platform engagement, even when those changes would protect children from predators. They go on to say, as one former Roblox employee explained, quote, you're supposed to make sure that your users are safe, but then the downside of that is if you're limiting users' engagement, it's hurting our metrics. It's hurting the active users, the time spent on the platform, and in a lot of cases, the leadership doesn't want that. The same employee added, you have to make a decision, right? You can keep your players safe, but then it would be less of them on the platform, or you just let them do what they want to do, and the numbers look good and investors will be happy. The lawsuit goes on to say by limiting safety measures, defendants not only increased its users, but also reduced the company's safety expenses as a percentage of its revenue, a key metric for Wall Street, which views trust and safety costs as detrimental to defendants' stock performance. Barclays, for example, identified its quote-unquote downside case for defendant stock as additional safety investments due to its younger demographic becoming a drag on earnings margins. Roblox is valued, or was, at over $8 billion. This is an $8 billion company. For example, on defendant's 2023 fourth quarter earnings call, an analyst praised the really high level of efficiency seen in the numbers for infrastructure and trust and safety expenditures, and then asked how those figures would evolve over time. In response, the defendant's CFO emphasized the company's goal of reducing expenses, stating, quote, cost to serve is the metric that we would use, and it's the metric that the infrastructure team owns. They're working hard to drive that down. Like you said, it's about 11% now. Ultimately, with higher efficiency, more use of AI, we want to see a high single-digit number over the next few years. He added, we still think there is more to do there. So how far can they cut costs and automate safety? They go on to say, at other times, the CFO has reassured investors, stating, look for trust and safety costs to scale below linear as we grow, and that defendants were, quote, quite happy with trust and safety costs growing at a lower rate than the rest of our bookings growth. When you have 7-year-olds to 18-year-olds on your platform, cutting cost in trust and safety shouldn't be your main goal, especially when your users and your public-facing users like Creekcraft have been talking to you both publicly and behind the scenes about this being an issue. And what we're seeing now is a generation of creators who grew up with Roblox. Not me, I'm old. I'm not the average creator, but we're seeing a generation of creators who grew up with a platform they love, becoming content creators around a platform that they love, and feeling incredibly burned by it when they are raising red flags of issues on the platform that not only hurt them as creators because they don't want to encourage their audience to be somewhere that's unsafe, but also hurts them, it seems, on a more individual level because something that is really intertwined with their own childhoods has become a place that they don't feel they can safely recommend to kids. And when you're seeing large creators step away from their main platform of creation, it is really beyond anything I think we've seen. And I don't think we're going to see the stop to these lawsuits. And I think we are going to see more and more individual lawsuits of individual kids coming forward as John and Jane Does talking about their experiences on platform. And I just wonder if when Roblox thought that they were going to silence a creator that was, and that's completely my speculation, but taking a creator off of Roblox so they can't see what's going on and they can't continue to make videos about it. When they took Schlepp off their platform, I wonder if they ever anticipated that this was going to be not only something that came to my section of the internet in law, but it's something my kids are talking about, that their friends are talking about, that their friends' parents are talking about, and that are in headlines across just about every form of media you can find. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on the Louisiana lawsuit. There's a lot more in here. I'm going to also link the lawsuit down below if you want to read it. There's a lot more in it. It is extensive and it is disturbing. But if you want to know more about what's going on Roblox, there's going to be a lot of resources attached to this episode, including videos by Charlie at Moist Critical, Creecraft talking about why he's stepping away from the platform, Schlepp's channel where he's talking about the cease and desist that was sent, the lawsuit itself, and other resources. If you want to look at the parental resources or the resources where you can report or start to make reports about things going on the platform, because this story shouldn't go away anytime soon. And I think we're going to see a lot of conversations around the internet has a lot of spaces, but where there are child spaces on the internet, those need to be protected. And I'm really not sure how this is going to play out and whether there need to be multiple versions of Roblox that are better age gated. So you have an 18 plus and a 17 and under. Maybe that's what you need to do. But allowing this to go on, and with so much money intertangled in it, we are not going to see Roblox continuing business as usual. There are too many eyes on it, and there are too many government entities with eyes on it. And when you can actually find a story where you get a lot of politicians that can say, actually, it's about protecting the kids and it's not a reach, well, I think we're going to see a lot more attention brought to this. With all of that, we will be talking about this more. Let me know your thoughts down below. A lot of different topics in today's podcast, but it is something that I think needs to be talked about. And when we're looking at the legal side of individual states suing companies, I don't think we're at the end of seeing states suing Roblox. I'm going to keep an eye on it. Let me know your questions down below. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a Law Nerd. Next week, I will also be traveling. So we're like one on, one off. But if you want to know what we're doing, get the Law Nerd app, because I'm going to be covering trial in Florida with the Donna Adelson case. And I'll have a case brief up for you about that case. If you're like, what is it? It is a murder and solicitation of murder case. This is the fifth prosecution, or the fifth person prosecuted in the murder of Dan Markell in Florida in 2014. So Donna Adelson will be going to trial, and that's what I'll be covering over on the live streaming channel. So I hope to see you in the chat, and I will talk to you soon. Bye. Thanks for joining me. If you enjoyed this episode and don't want to miss updates on your favorite cases, you're going to need the Law Nerd app at lawnerdapp.com. That way you can stay in the loop on the cases that matter most to you, and you never know when you're going to catch feelings for a new case. So make sure you get it for free on iOS and Android. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being a Law Nerd.